There's a girl who has never cried in public, not once, not at funerals, not at failures, not at the specific kind of loneliness that comes from being the one person in every room who sees the world differently from everyone else. Her name is Wednesday Addams, and the first thing she does in this story is free her younger brother Pugsley from the locker he's been locked inside by a group of school bullies. She doesn't raise her voice, she doesn't threaten anyone. She goes directly to the swimming pool, opens 2 bags of piranhas into the water, and watches with complete satisfaction as the boy responsible for locking her brother inside a cage finds himself very suddenly unable to think about anything other than survival. The school expels her. She looks at the letter of expulsion with the same expression she uses for everything, which is to say, no expression at all. This is the 9th school in 5 years. Her parents, Gomez and Morticia Addams, have been here before. They make a decision. It's time to send Wednesday to Nevermore Academy, the private institution they both attended, the school built specifically for what the world calls outcasts. Werewolves, vampires, psychics, the gifted, the strange, the people who exist outside the neat categories that ordinary life prefers. Wednesday would like to point out that she has not consented to any of this. Nobody asked. At the same moment, somewhere in the forest surrounding Nevermore, a young man is sitting alone among the trees when something enormous comes out of the dark and tears him apart before he can make a sound. Wednesday arrives at Nevermore and is taken immediately to Principal Weems, a woman who carries authority the way some people carry furniture, without appearing to notice the weight. Weems reviews her file, points out that 8 expulsions in 5 years is not a promising foundation for enrollment, and shows her to her room. Her roommate is Enid Sinclair, a werewolf who has not yet undergone her first transformation, who decorates every available surface in bright colors, who greets Wednesday with open arms and genuine warmth. Wednesday looks at her side of the room and at Enid's side of the room and immediately repaints her half floor to ceiling in black and white. Her parents say their goodbyes. They know their daughter well enough to know that goodbye is not permanent. She will attempt escape before the week is out. Before they leave, they slip a disembodied hand into the building. His name is Thing. He's been with the family for years. He has instructions to watch Wednesday and report back if she tries to run. Wednesday spends her first evening mapping the building. She finds Thing in a corner, establishes the terms of their new arrangement. He either lives in her desk drawer for the next year, or he pledges loyalty to her and follows her instructions exclusively. And Thing, with the pragmatism of a hand that has no real leverage, pledges loyalty without hesitation. The next morning, Weems takes her to the school therapist. The therapist steps out to take a call. Wednesday signals Thing, climbs out the window while the therapist's back is turned and hits the street. She bumps into a stranger on the sidewalk by accident, and in the single second of contact sees a vision him, dead in a car crash, a specific intersection, a specific angle of impact. She pushes it aside and keeps walking. She finds a cafe, orders coffee, discovers the machine is broken. The owner's son, a boy named Tyler Galpin, offers her a deal. Wait an hour until his shift ends and he'll arrange a cab to the train station. She sits down to wait. 3 boys walk in. They see her uniform, recognize it as Nevermore's, and start in on her. She handles all 3 of them with methodical precision and no wasted movement. When she's satisfied, she sits back down. Detective Donovan Galpin, Tyler's father, walks in, takes in the scene, and is told by Principal Weems, who has arrived to collect her, that the girl's last name is Addams. Galpin goes completely still. He tells her to pass a message along to her father. He'll be arresting Gomez Addams shortly for murder. Wednesday processes this information with her face showing nothing. On the drive back to school, they pass the intersection from her vision. The man she bumped into is dead on the road. The car is crumpled at exactly the angle she saw. She looks at it and understands for the first time what her ability actually means. Back at Nevermore, Wednesday asks Enid to teach her how to use a computer. Enid agrees, then asks her something in return, why she seems so unaffected by everything. Wednesday tells her about the only time she cried as a child after a vision, surrounded by bullies, watching something she'd seen in a vision die in real time in front of her. She made a decision that day. No more tears, no more waiting for the world to hand her anything. Enid starts to cry while listening to this. Wednesday is visibly uncomfortable. She cannot abide people crying in front of her, not because she lacks empathy, but because empathy in this particular form makes her feel powerless, and she has decided never to feel powerless again. She changes the subject by sending Thing with her number to Tyler, asking him to meet her at the school Halloween party so he can take her to the station as planned. She also, though she will not acknowledge this for several more episodes, decides to stay. Not for the people, not for the school, for the answer. There is a monster in the forest, a dead boy who never made it home, and a warning she received from a classmate right before that boy died. She is not the kind of person who walks away from unanswered questions. The Halloween party gives her the opening she needs. She engineers a distraction. One of the performers draws Weem's attention at the critical moment and slips away to find Tyler. He's brought the case file on her father's old murder charge. The three bullies from the cafe appear and give chase. In the chaos, she collides with a classmate named Rowan and in the split second of contact, sees him dying in the forest. She doesn't dismiss it. She runs after him. She finds him at the tree line, and what follows is not the conversation she expected. He holds up a torn drawing cut from an old book and explains that his mother was a prophet. His mother told him in specific detail that a girl with Wednesday's exact combination of abilities would one day enter Nevermore and cause the destruction of everyone in it. Rowan was supposed to stop her before she could act. He raises his hands, telekinetic, she realizes, and she braces herself. Before either of them can finish what they've started, something enormous comes out of the trees and kills Rowan in front of her. She stands there, completely still, watching. Then she turns and walks back toward the school, and her expression, if you could read it, has changed from neutral to something more specific, resolved. The police come to the forest and find nothing. Galpin tells her the story doesn't hold up, and then Rowan walks into the school the next morning alive and fine as if the forest never happened. Weems expels him that day without explanation and he packs his things and leaves. Wednesday follows him to the town train station. She watches him walk into a public restroom and emerge as a much older man. Then she watches the older man transform back into Principal Weems. The ability to become anyone, she now knows two things: Rowan is dead and Weems has been covering it up. Wednesday spends the next several days reconstructing the trail. She's looking for the book that Rowan's drawing was torn from. She can't find it in the library. She sits near Xavier Thorpe, a classmate she's been watching since he saved her from a falling gargoyle on her first day, which he said was returning a favor from a childhood funeral years ago where he hid in a coffin, and she was the only person who thought to look for him there. She watches him move a pencil across a canvas without touching it and files his telekinesis away in her mental inventory of useful things. That night she goes through his room while he's in the bathroom. She finds a collection of drawings he's made of her, dozens of them, various poses, various moments from the past several weeks. Xavier catches her going through them. It's an awkward 30 seconds. Bianca Barclay appears. She'd been keeping watch since the monster's first appearance near Wednesday, and there's a brief standoff before she leaves with a warning that Wednesday and Enid will both regret crossing her. The next morning is the school's annual boat race, a long-running tradition where Bianca's team, with its water manipulator, has never lost. Wednesday joins the Black Cats, Enid's team. During the race, Bianca's teammate goes into the water and starts flipping every competing vessel one by one. When he reaches Wednesday's boat, she throws a net over him. The Black Cats reach the finish first. But Wednesday was never there for the race. She grabs the race marker as she crosses the finish line, and the moment her hand closes around it, the world around her changes. She's standing somewhere else another time, another version of the school, and a girl who looks almost exactly like her is holding a book and looking directly at her. The girl says, "You are the key." Then it ends and she's back on the water. She goes and stands near a statue on the school grounds afterward and notices something she missed before, a symbol carved into the base, the same symbol on Rowan's torn drawing. She returns at night, finds a book resting in the statue's open stone hand, decodes the symbols inside it and gets a password. The password opens a hidden door beneath the school. Behind the door, a secret library built generations ago as a meeting place for a student organization called the Nightshades. And on one of the shelves, the book that Rowan's drawing came from. Before she can take it, someone grabs her from behind. She wakes up facing 4 masked figures in a stone chamber. She listens to one of them speak for about 4 seconds, then identifies them by voice, posture, and habit. She tells Bianca to remove her mask first. Bianca does, the others follow. They had already decided she was smart enough to know them all on sight. Xavier is among them. He invites her to join. She refuses. She informs them that the Nightshades are a failed organization operating out of nostalgia, demonstrates that she had already freed herself from her restraints while they were talking, looks at all 4 of them with undisguised contempt and walks out. She takes the book back to her room. Inside it, the remaining drawings Rowan had collected from his mother's prophecy, including a battle scene featuring an unidentified figure. A man, old, dangerous. She doesn't know who he is yet. The next day, the school assigns community volunteer placements. Wednesday gets an antique shop. She finds out Enid's placement is at what used to be the Pilgrim Order's location, the original settlement that Nevermore was built in the shadow of. She swaps assignments with her and goes herself with a small group where she finds the building, finds a photograph on the wall matching the girl from her visions, finds the book from the photograph, but opens it and discovers a replica. Empty. The real one is somewhere else. Eugene Ottinger, a quiet student who keeps bees and who nobody treats particularly well, spots something in the building and calls Wednesday over. He recognizes a sketch on the wall, a cave, somewhere in the surrounding forest. He knows where it is. That evening, Wednesday goes to a set of ruins at the edge of the forest. The pilgrim orders old gathering site. Thing comes with her. An old man comes out and tells her to leave. Thing advances and the man runs. Wednesday touches the door of the building and reality dissolves. She's standing inside a memory. A group of men led by a man named Crackstone surround a girl who looks exactly like Wednesday. He calls her a witch. He calls her a stain that must be removed. The girl, young, furious, completely unafraid, tells him he is the monster in this story, not her, and opens a gash across his face with something sharp before he can grab her. He locks her in a room with the other imprisoned outcasts. Her mother appears through a hidden passage and helps her escape with a single instruction. Go, survive, come back one day, take everything from Crackstone that he took from all of us. The girl turns and looks directly at Wednesday. She says, "My name is Goody Addams. He will not stop until every outcast is dead." Then Crackstone himself appears in the vision, turning toward Wednesday, and she slams back into the present, standing in the ruins' doorway, looking directly at the creature staring at her from the dark. She runs. Xavier is right behind her. He followed her into the forest and arrived just in time to see the creature and pull her away. On the run, he tells her something else. He had been communicating online with Rowan before the school year started, planning to catch up. But Rowan told him he was too sick to come, which would be a normal thing to say, except they hadn't seen each other the previous year either. Meaning someone has been impersonating Rowan since before the semester began, meaning someone knew about the murder from the start. Wednesday goes back to town the next morning. She finds a statue of Crackstone in the town square, decorated with flowers, a historical plaque at its base describing him as a founding father. She looks at it for a long time, then walks past it and slips an accelerant packet into the base without breaking stride. She sits on a bench across the square with her violin in her lap. When Thing ignites the accelerant on her signal, the statue goes up in flames and the crowd panics in every direction. Wednesday plays through the entire thing without moving from the bench. Weems drags her back and delivers a lecture about the consequences of antagonizing the normal residents of the town, about the careful balance that keeps Nevermore from being shut down, about the fact that Wednesday's actions have real costs for real people. Wednesday sits and listens with the expression she uses when she has already decided nothing being said applies to her. That same night, the creature kills the old man from the Pilgrim building. Enid gets ready to meet her boyfriend at a planned time and waits, and he never comes. He's been found in the forest. Wednesday uses Thing to disable the morgue surveillance cameras and listens while the medical examiner and Detective Galpin assess the latest body. She hears the confirmation she was looking for. Every victim in the forest had organs surgically removed by something that knew what it was taking. She now knows the creature isn't random. It's collecting specific things for a specific purpose on someone's instruction. The next day at school, Wednesday notices deep parallel scratches running along Xavier's neck, claw marks fresh. She follows him after dismissal to his cabin in the forest, waits for him to leave, goes inside. The walls are covered. Dozens of drawings of the monster, not sketches but detailed portraits as if drawn from life, from proximity, from repeated observation. She takes one and gets out. Xavier is standing at the door when she emerges. She covers herself immediately with an invitation to the school's upcoming dance. He looks surprised. He says yes. She goes straight to Detective Galpin with the drawing and makes her case, the scratches, the artwork, the access. He tells her a drawing is not evidence and she should go home. She leaves and goes to Eugene instead. She takes him to the cabin and shows him the collection. Eugene recognizes one of the sketches, a cave he knows the location of, a specific formation he's been to before. He takes her there. Inside, bones and a single broken claw matching the creature's tracks. Wednesday takes the claw for analysis, then returns to the cabin and removes one of Xavier's personal effects to compare. Xavier catches her leaving with it. He tells her, in a rush, clearly frightened of how it sounds, that the monster appears to him in dreams, and that because his ability allows him to manifest parts of his drawings into physical reality, the creature had started crossing from imagination into the actual world and had attacked him, which was the source of the scratches. She doesn't believe him. She goes to Galpin. He agrees to run the analysis on the claw and arranges for Wednesday and Eugene to monitor the cave together. The school dance. Enid arrives with Tyler, who received a warm message that thing sent on her behalf, and every student in the hallway turns to look at her. She takes the stairs to the dance floor, and for a single moment something about her is entirely different, not the Enid who worries about being behind, but a version of herself that has arrived. Eugene tells Wednesday he's going to the cave alone tonight since she appears to be occupied. Wednesday gives him a look that means she's heard him and will deal with that problem after the one in front of her. On the dance floor, Wednesday dances in her own specific way, which is to say extremely well and unlike anyone around her. The mayor's son is there with his friends from the cafe, which is not a coincidence. A van pulls into the parking area outside. His friends unload containers of red paint and send it through the vents above the dance floor. The crowd screams and scatters. Wednesday tastes at paint, not blood, and in the chaos bumps into the mayor's son. And the vision arrives instantly, him in the forest, the creature tonight. She runs out of the dance without explaining anything to anyone and finds him in the dark, unconscious but breathing. The creature has already moved on. She stands over him for a moment and makes a promise quietly that she will find whoever is responsible. She returns to school the next day to find her parents waiting. They ask if she's happy. She doesn't answer directly, but she answers and they understand what she means. Galpin is waiting in the building and places Gomez under arrest. Wednesday is pulled away before she can fully derail the situation, but she manages one question before she goes. She asks her father about a man named Garrett Gates. Her father's face changes completely. He says nothing. They leave. Wednesday now knows the secret at the center of her father's case has a name, and she starts pulling at it. She goes to Galpin the next day and lays out her case. The medical examiner's conscience has been troubling him for years. He confessed to covering up details of a crime before taking his own life, and he did it on the exact day their two families were present at the school simultaneously. That's not coincidence, that's coordination. Someone has been managing this case from the inside for a long time, and that someone has motive. Galpin doesn't agree and doesn't pretend to. She leaves. She goes to her mother. In the quiet of the school corridors with no one else nearby, she asks about Garrett Gates and the night he died. Her mother tells her the truth. She killed him. Gomez confessed to protect her. And at the moment of Garrett's death, something was wrong. His eyes were wrong. There was foam at the corner of his mouth, details that didn't fit the story of a straightforward confrontation. Wednesday goes to the cemetery with her mother. She's taken into custody before she can fully search the grave, but she managed to take Garrett's severed finger from the burial site before being brought in, and at the station, holding the bone fragment, she sees the vision. Garrett's father, a vial of poison. Planned to kill every student at Nevermore, every outcast in one building, an act of extermination dressed up as justice. Garrett refused. They fought. The vial broke in his pocket. The poison killed him. She takes this to the mayor. The mayor already knows all of it. He was a young police officer at the time and too afraid of the Gates family's influence to speak. The land Nevermore was built on used to belong to the Gates, and Garrett's father wanted it back at any cost. The mayor apologizes and releases Gomez from custody. The case is closed. Wednesday has solved her father's mystery in 3 days and tells no one it was impressive. She also opens the photo album her mother gave her from her Nevermore days and finds a photograph of Principal Weems transformed mid-performance into the likeness of a famous singer. It confirms what she already suspected. Weems was the one who impersonated Rowan. Rowan has been dead since the night of the Halloween party. She goes to Weems and confronts her directly. Weems admits it without apology and says she did it to protect the school from the panic that would follow if the truth came out. A noise interrupts them. They look out the window and find a word burned into the ground in fire. Wednesday recognizes it from a vision she had several weeks ago and immediately goes to a quiet space to try to summon Goody Addams. Enid finds her before she can fully concentrate and breaks the contact. But a note slides under the door. The answer to all of her questions is in Crackstone's crypt. Wednesday and Enid go to the crypt and walk into a surprise party. Thing told everyone it was her 16th birthday. The room is full of students who have gathered specifically to do something kind for a person who would describe kindness as her least preferred form of interaction. She stands in the doorway looking at all of them and says nothing, but notices a phrase written decoratively on the wall, the same phrase that was burned into the school grounds. She touches it. Goody Addams appears, leads her through a vision to a specific house, and tells her the answer is inside. She sketches the door and brings the drawing to Tyler. He doesn't recognize it. She goes to Xavier, apologizes for the breaking and entering, and asks for help. He tells her the door belongs to the Gates family's former estate. She notices on her way out a portrait he painted of her playing cello, and tells him this kind of attention is not something she's asked for and not something she welcomes. He accepts this without argument. She goes to the Gates house and finds the mayor leaving on the phone with Galpin, urgent, saying he's identified the monster and needs to meet immediately. She hides in the trunk of his car. At the meeting point, another vehicle hits the mayor's car and he's taken to the hospital in critical condition. Galpin finds Wednesday standing nearby and tears into her with the specific exhaustion of a man who has arrived at every disaster this town has had this year, and found her within 50 feet of it every single time. He tells her to stop contacting Tyler. She gets back to Nevermore to find Weems waiting with her expulsion papers. She's done, she has until morning. She goes to Xavier and apologizes properly for suspecting him. He doesn't accept it. She goes to say goodbye to Eugene, who is sitting outside looking small, and in the middle of their farewell he mentions something he never thought to mention before, that before the creature appeared at the cave, he saw a woman outside in red boots holding a torch. Wednesday stops walking. She goes back over every teacher at Nevermore in her memory. The only one who wears red boots is Miss Marilyn, the school's art teacher. She works through it from the beginning. Laurel Gates, Garrett's younger sister, was declared dead in the house fire that supposedly killed the whole family, but the body was never properly identified. Laurel could have survived, changed her name, built a new identity, and waited. She returned to Nevermore as Marilyn, positioned herself inside the institution her family lost, and began setting the pieces in motion. Hyde, the creature, is an ordinary person transformed through hypnosis. The controller activates and deactivates the transformation at will. Marilyn needed a Hyde and she found one. Wednesday goes back through the entire year. The therapist who kept pressing her about her psychic visions, who seemed unusually interested in her specifically, who died the moment Wednesday started getting close to the truth. The therapist's killer, as far as the police are concerned, is Xavier, who was arrested after incriminating materials were found in his possession. Wednesday has been wrong about Xavier from the beginning. She goes to Tyler at night. She reaches out and touches his hand, and the vision arrives with the weight of confirmation. Tyler, in the forest, the creature's face belonging to him, the therapist dying. He is the Hyde. He has been the monster the entire time. She lets go of his hand and walks away without saying anything because she needs a plan before she acts. She sends Thing to bring Tyler to the forest and shows up herself with the Nightshades and Bianca. She tells him what she knows. She tells him his mother was a Nevermore student, also a Hyde, and that he inherited the ability from her. She tells him Marilyn activated him through their therapy sessions. She tries to force a transformation in front of witnesses. Tyler starts to change, and the Nightshades panic and scatter. Galpin arrives with police, takes custody of Tyler, and tells Wednesday she's free to go. As she walks away from the scene, Tyler calls after her, confirms everything, confirms the creature, confirms the kills, and tells her, "You'll never be free of any of this." Wednesday goes to Weems and explains that she has a confession. Weems has had enough. The school is days away from being shut down because of Wednesday's actions, and the last thing she needs is another revelation. She's expelled. It stands, go home. Wednesday goes to Xavier, stands in the doorway of his studio, and says she was wrong about him and she's sorry. He doesn't forgive her, not yet. She goes to say goodbye to Eugene one last time, and in that conversation he says it again, more clearly. There was a woman outside the cave, red boots, a torch. She was the one who lit the way for the creature. Wednesday turns around and goes back to school. She confronts Marilyn directly. Marilyn confirms everything with the ease of someone who has been waiting for this confrontation. She activates Tyler. The plan, Weems would appear on cue, giving Wednesday the opening to expose Marilyn with witnesses present. But when the creature lunges, Weems can't clear the space in time. Marilyn moves first, a syringe, the toxin, and Weems goes down. She dies on the floor of the corridor she's managed for 30 years. Marilyn knocks Wednesday unconscious. When Wednesday wakes, she's restrained in the school's lower chambers. Marilyn explains, with the patience of someone who has spent a lifetime planning this, that Crackstone is her ancestor. 400 years ago, Goody Addams trapped him using blood magic with a specific condition built into the seal. It can only be broken by a member of the Addams bloodline. She needed Wednesday's blood and her lineage specifically. Nobody else in the world could do. She places Wednesday's hand against Crackstone's grave and speaks the incantation. The seal cracks. Crackstone begins to reconstitute, pulled together from the organs Tyler collected all year, each one a component of the body that Marilyn was rebuilding piece by piece. He looks at Wednesday the moment he's whole. He sees Goody Addams in her face, the same cheekbones, the same eyes, the same absolute refusal to blink first, and he goes directly for her throat. Goody appears one final time. She steps into the space beside Wednesday and speaks quietly, "Don't surrender. There is a blade, drive it through his heart. This is the last time we meet." Then she steps forward and enters Wednesday's body, and the wound in her shoulder heals. Wednesday stands up. Enid transformed at the edge of the forest at the moment the seal broke, finally, completely, with the full force of everything she's been suppressing for years. She and Thing are already moving toward the school at speed. Xavier got loose from Galpin's car. Wednesday retrieves her mother's sword, the one Morticia used against Garrett Gates, the one that's been here in the school's storage all along, and walks into the courtyard. Xavier fires an arrow at Crackstone. Crackstone redirects it telekinetically. It spins and comes back toward Xavier. Wednesday throws herself in front of it. The arrow goes through her shoulder. She pulls it out without stopping, holds the sword with the arm that still works, and faces Crackstone in the center of the yard. Bianca comes from behind and opens a wound in Crackstone's side. Wednesday drives the blade through his chest. He shatters. Marilyn attacks, and then from the trees, from the darkness, from a place nobody thought to look, hundreds of bees pour into the light. Eugene, sitting in the branches above, directing his hive with the same quiet precision he uses for everything, sending them where they need to go. Marilyn is overwhelmed. Wednesday gets to her. The last of the Gates bloodline ends. The school year ends. Wednesday moves through the goodbyes. Enid, who transformed and is glowing with it. Eugene, who will spend the rest of his life knowing he was there when it mattered. Bianca, who chose the right side when it cost something. She passes Xavier's studio and finds a phone left outside her door, a gift, no note, just the phone and a photograph of her. She picks it up and opens it. A message from an unknown number: "You will never escape us." She reads it once, puts the phone in her pocket, and keeps walking. She has already started thinking about who sent it. In a police transport van, Tyler is being moved to a secure facility. The van slows. Tyler looks at his hands. His father is in the front seat. And then the van begins to shake from the inside, and Tyler's silhouette changes and the season ends.